I have some notes. The second point is to take a selfie. That's what I did last year as well. But yeah, that's what I always do. Cheers! Okay. Cool. Okay, so let's get started. So today we're going to do some live coding with the new composition API. And just a little bit about myself. I'm Jason Yu, and I'm a front-end engineer at Tez. It's a great company, and if you want interested, come to our booth. I don't know if we still have time. And I'm a musician in my free time. Any musician? Yeah, nice. And today, here's a quick quiz for you guys. What would be the common thing of a front-end engineer and a musician? What are they in common? Keyboard, yes, correct. Oh, it's keyboard. So what we're going to build today is a keyboard. That is, the idea is to map each key on our computer keyboard into some piano key. So for example, when you press Q, the F will ring, maybe. And then when you press 2, F sharp will ring, and just so on and so on. Make sense? Yeah. Nice. And notice how we have the bottom 2 rows as well. So we can map those 2 rows into a lower octave. So do you know what an octave is? I'll explain. So an octave is just the same note, but in a different tone. So for example, do and do. They're the same note, but in different octave. Make sense? Cool. Okay, so we have a huge range of notes that we can play with our keyboard. And to show you guys my keyboard, I brought my own keyboard so that later you can see how I can press the keyboard. Nice. So let's code. That's the introduction. Let's start my terminal. It's really fun. Ignore that. Okay. Just going to the directory. Yeah. And I have this repository set up for you guys. And when you look at a new project, the first thing I would look at is the package.json. So let's have a look. So here we got a script which it calls parcel. Anyone like parcel here? Okay, I quite like parcel because it's good, simple. And it basically takes the index.html as the entry point. And if you look at the dependencies, we are using TypeScript today. Yeah, woo! And then we use Prettier, that cleans up our code, and some really simple stuff. And notice we're using TypeScript, the beta version 3.7, which is just released 2 days ago. So do you know what that means? We're going to use some new feature in the TypeScript. Woo! As well, cutting edge. Okay, anyway, so let's get started. Let's run that script, npm run dev, and let's see what we get. I guess you can see it, right? Cool. So let's go to this localhost. Oh, by the way, if I code this piano in time, I might sing a song at the end. Yay! I might. So here's our keyboard, and which doesn't work now. So if I press any key, it doesn't respond. So today, our job is to make this keyboard work. So first thing first, project. I have some note. Project tool. So I'll bring you over the project. So in the source, we have index.html, which just loads the index.ts. So parser will look into this file and then grab all the dependencies and then bundle them, do all this stuff. And in the index.ts, pretty simple. We import the Vue composition API plugin, which is a Vue 2 plugin for you to try out the composition API. And we'll use it and then render app. In our app, it's basically what we saw just now. We have the title, h1. Okay, let me fix that. Sorry. So we have the title, keyboard, and then we have the piano keyboard, which is this and this here. And we have a footer. The footer doesn't do anything. So let's look into the piano keyboard. It accepts 4 props. You don't really need to know how I styled it. I know it's cool, but you don't really need to know. You just have to care about the props. So it takes in the starting key. So the starting key is just what you have here. So you have F, G, A, or you can do like A sharp, something like that. And you tell it how many keys you want. So for example, let me change a little bit for you. So if I change this to 3, you see it becomes 3 keys. Yeah? Make sense? Cool. And the next, labels. Labels are just what's displaying on here. So I can pass in an array of other strings, and it will just display on there. And it's actives. It's a prop which we can define some styles. So when it takes in a list of booleans, so if I do true, false, true, the 2 white notes will be pressed. Yeah? Make sense? Following? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So let's go back to what we have previously. And now you understand our project structure. So let's get started to coding. So watch too much Gordon Ramsay. So now, how do we make the browser to make sound? There's this nice web audio API. Have anyone used it? Nice, we got a few hands. So it's a very nice API. I'm glad you guys haven't used it, so that you can learn something new from this. So the web audio API is really simple. So we can create some audio context by just calling new audio context. And that create a context. Think of it like a canvas. And then with that context, we can create something called, sorry?
Your variable is called connect.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry. Good shout, thanks. Connect dot create oscillator, which will create something called an oscillator. And all it does from its name is just something that vibrates at some frequency and makes some sound. And first of all, we need to tell it how frequent it should vibrate, and we set the frequency to 440. 440 is the frequency for the note A4. You don't really need to know what, just think of it as vibrating at some frequency, okay? And then you can connect this to the connect.destination. Think of it as your speaker, right? And then if you do oscillator.start, it might be loud, so cover your ears, I don't know. And you can hear some sound. And and you can just stop it by doing stop. That's amazing, isn't it? So simple. So, all right. So let's wrap this in a library, nice library, okay? So let's, in our audio module, create a new index.ts. And we basically want 2 functions. The first one, start note, giving a frequency, it play that note, and stop note, taking in the same frequency and stop that note. That's it. And so we'll export 2 functions, start, note, and you'll take in some frequency. And I'm writing TypeScript, so I'm writing the type for the frequency. It's a number. And it will return nothing, so I'll just do void. And, oh, notice my number lines are relative number lines. I hope you're not annoyed by that, but that's very useful for me. Anyway, sorry, I keep going away. So we'll do what we did just now. We'll do new audio context, and then we'll do context create oscillator later, and then we'll set the frequency to the frequency, and then we'll just start it. Oh, and we need to connect to the context.destination. That's it. There we go. We have our start node, And then we need our stop node, which takes in the frequency. And it will somehow call oscillator stop, but we need the instance of the oscillator. So when we create it, let's make a map from frequency to oscillator map. So it's a map from number to an oscillator node instance. And we'll initialize this with new map. Yeah? And after starting it, we can just, frequency map dot set the frequency to the oscillator. And so here we can get it. So we can just get it by frequency, get frequency, I'm thinking out loud. Oscillator, and then we can get the oscillator instance here. Oh, sorry, that's stupid. I don't need the. Make sense? Yeah. And we get an error there saying it's undefined, or that's what you get from TypeScript, right? It knows that it could be undefined from the map. So guess what you do now? Optional chaining, yes! So we just add the question mark here. Magic! I love this, oh my god. Yeah. And then we will remove the entry from the map so that we can start again. So in the start node, we will say if the map already contains has this frequency, that means it's playing already, so there's no point of calling start again. We just return. Does it make sense? Following? Cool, amazing. So we'll just test this library, see if it works, okay? Let's go back to our app. In our setup method, we'll just do onMounted. And when it's mounted, we'll just do a add event listener to the click. And we'll take in, I don't need the event. I just need to call start node, and I need to import that. Audio. Yes. And then we'll call it with 440, and then we'll set some timeout. Just stop the node. Oh. After a second. Yeah, following. Can you guys see that? Oh, that's huge. Okay. So if we go back here, refresh, and if we click. Amazing. So next, what we need to do is just so that so in here we have some variables defined. The higher keys correspond to the keys that I wanted to play when I hit the keyboard. And the higher frequencies has the same length as the keys, and each of the elements is just the frequency corresponding to that key. Yeah? Cool. Sorry, I just want to assert that you guys are following. Okay, cool. So now, if we just loop through that key of higher keys, and for each key, we'll add an event listener for key down. And we'll take in the E event. And if the E.key is equals to key, then we'll play note. Let's put 440 for now, because we need the frequency. And then on unmounted, we need to be a good programmer and remove our whatever we added to the window, right? So we'll just put that listener on key down. And just put it here. And the E is just a keyboard event. Right. What? Oh, sorry. Thanks. Nervous. Yeah. So now we've added the key on key down listener, and then we can also remove it when we unmount on before unmount. Yeah. Why is it complaining about? Oh, it's not playing note. Sorry, it's start note. Make sense?
Yeah.
And we need to stop it as well. So we'll create on key up. That will stop the same note. So copy this, key up, on key up. That's annoying, on key up. Yeah, let's try it. So now what we'll expect to see is when I press these keys on the keyboard, you'll hear the same note and there will be do, 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 something like that. Let's see if it works. Oh, I haven't refreshed, sorry. Because I didn't clean up my event listener, so it's still there. So let's refresh. Okay, now if I... Good. So now we just need it to play at different frequencies. So there's this function called zip. Anyone know the zip function? Okay, it's a function from functional programming. Like, well, I'll explain. So what zip does is basically it takes in two array. So let me show an example here. So for example, zip 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5. It will return you an array of tuples. Tuples are just array with two elements in JavaScript. So it will return 1, 4, 2, 5, and 3 undefined. You see how it's zipping the two arrays, right? Makes sense. And in our case, we want to zip our higher keys and the higher frequencies so that we can loop through both of them at the same time. So we'll just do zip high keys with higher frequencies. And then now we can get the key and the frequency from here. And then we can play frequency and stop the frequency. Yeah? And it's complaining. That's the good thing about TypeScript again, because it knows that the zip function can have different length, and one might be undefined. So we can simply fix it by, okay, I can't do optional chaining this time, but but we can just do not key or not frequency. And then we'll just continue. Because we know this will never be the case, right? Because we know they're of the same length. So if we go back and refresh, and if I play the notes, play the keys here, we should be able to hear from F to C, something like that. Thank you. So, okay, cool. So it's pretty cool, right? But our code looks ugly, right? It's just very messy. So let's try to refactor this. Now the keyboard kind of works. So let's try to refactor this. So the first thing I can refactor is obviously the key down. So just imagine, you have a composition function called use key down. Then it will take in a key, and I think it should return some Boolean, a reactive Boolean that represents whether the key is being pressed, right? So we can just do is key down. And imagine you have this function, then these code can be gone, and we can just watch over is key down. And when something changes, we can just base on the is key down to play the note or not. So if it's key down, then start the note. Otherwise, stop the note. Right, and then all these code can be gone. So let's create that function, right? Are you guys following? Do you see what I'm trying to create now? I'm trying to create the use key down that will take in the key and return a reactive Boolean. and you can watch over the reactive Boolean, and whenever it changes, we can do something. Yeah? Okay, okay. Are you guys actually following? I don't know. Okay, compositions. So I'll call it compositions or composables or whatever. Compositions could. Use keydown.ts. So let's try to think about how we can do that. Use key down. So you take in the key, which is a string, and you return some reactive reference. And Vue already have that type for you. It's just ref. But you need to provide what kind of reference that is. So we'll just say Boolean. And to implement this, first of all, we need to create a reference. So we'll say is key down equals ref false. We'll set it to false for now. Let's import that. And then we'll return this. So what should we do in the middle? So exactly the same thing that we're doing here, right? So all this code come here. And then if on key down, the key is the same, what should we do? Set it to true, yes. So we just set is key down dot value to true. Notice how nice TypeScript is with this composition API. You just know that which value is a ref, which value is actual values. So it's really cool. So is key down value false, just like that, and then we import on mount. Oh, sorry, on mounted and on before mount. Yeah, looks good to me. Okay, and we'll go back to the app and we'll just import that use key down. Import use key down from composition use key down, just like that. And hopefully it will work. So if it works, we'll hear sound from my keyboard, okay? Woo! Nice. And see how much cleaner our code already is. With this abstraction of use key down, now we can just care about whether the key is down, but not care about the event listening. Isn't that amazing? I think it's really cool. Woo! Yeah. Next, what else can we refactor? So I have this idea of what if we can make this musical thing into its own composition. So what if we can do just something like music, use music note, and what it will take in is the frequency and whether it should play. So whether it should play is the same as its key down in this case. So we just put it there. With that function, we don't need this, right? So we can just remove that because this function will take care of the playing for us. So let's create that function. So we create a new use music note.ts, and it will export a use music note. And what it takes, frequency is a number, and we'll take in a should play is playing Boolean, which is a ref. Okay, I don't know why VS Code is stupid here. Ref of Boolean, and what it will return is, it doesn't return anything. It just do side effects. So we'll paste this here. Instead of is key down, we have is playing, which is much more expressive about what this watcher is doing, isn't it? Amazing. So so we'll import the watch. Why is it not doing that? Okay, I'll do it myself. Watch ref, what else? From Vue composition API. Yeah. And then we'll import the start note and stop note from the audio. Why? I don't know why. I'll just do this. Cool. Looks like it's working. So let's save this and import this as well. Use music note. Save this. And if it works, it works. The same thing, demonstration. Refresh first. Thank you. And what else can we do now? So we have the isActives, which should control whether the key is pressed. So let's put that down as well. So to do that, it's really simple, right? Because we have the use key down, so we can just quickly hack one is key downs and map each higher key to use key down. So now we have immediately a list of Boolean references. And if we export that, is key down, and we can just immediately put this is active to is key downs. Notice how cool this is. Come on, you can have the type from the template. That's what you get from TypeScript. Okay. So if we do this, it should work. So let's go back, refresh. Oh, everything is pressed. Why is it the case? In Vue.free, this would not be a problem. Vue.free knows how to unwrap. So the problem here now is, if we look into the Vue inspector, and if we look into the piano keyboard, if we look at the isActives, you can see we have a list of objects instead of a list of booleans. So this is the problem. This is one of the limitations in the composition API plugin. One of the limitations in Vue 2. But in Vue.free, this will be unwrapped and everything will work perfectly. So now what we can do is just do a simple hack. We can create a computer value. And that computer value just map each of these refs. They're just ref, so they have a value. So we'll map the ref into that value. So now this transforms a list of refs into a ref of list. Yeah? Make sense? Yeah? Cool. So if we go back here, and if we refresh, and if I press the keys, you hear the sound, and you'll see on the screen that they're being pressed. Or not. I focus on the window. Amazing. So, notice how we are using use key down twice here. So let's try to avoid doing that, right? Because we only need one single reactive reference to whether the key is down. So let's try to get rid of it. So imagine we are looping through. So we don't need the key. We can just loop through whether the key is down, and the frequency. Let's see. And then we'll set the higher frequency and the is key downs. And then we'll do similar things here. If not is key down, continue. And then we don't need to call this. We just use musical note. Is key down. Why? Oh, wait, what? Oh, sorry. Sorry. I put it the other way around. I'll fix that. Too quick. Oh. Okay. Yeah? Following? It's basically the same thing, but we're just reusing that is key downs. Happy? Okay, cool. So if we go back, and it should do the same thing. Ooh, sounds awesome. So now because it sounded kind of bad, so I've created this create electric oscillator, which will sound a little bit better. So let's put that in. That reminds me of that. So if we remove these, We don't need these. Oscillator equals create, and we pass in the frequency. That should sound better. We don't need this. Okay, it's just missing the lower keyboard. So let's finish the lower keyboard. Right. So to finish the lower keyboard, it's just basically the same code, right? Because it works exactly the same, right? So do you want me to create a new? Would you create a new composition function for that, or would you copy and paste this code? Composition function, yes, that's what we're going to do exactly. So because that composition function is not going to be used anywhere else, I'll just put it here, not like the other function would, but imagine this is a huge project, okay? So we can just create some private composition function in here. We can say use piano, and what it will do is it will, what do I need? I need a list of is playing and a list of frequency. Yeah, and the is playing would be a list of refs, boolean. Is that the right ref? I guess so. And then it will take in frequencies. No, actually it shouldn't take in is playing. It should take in the keys, actually. Sorry, my bad. So you take in the keys, because we want to listen to the key down as well. So it will take in the keys, which is string array, and we'll put this code inside here. And then instead of higher keys, it will be just keys. Yeah. And then instead of higher frequencies, we just frequencies. And there you go. And we can just use this keyboard, use piano, higher keys and higher frequencies. And we need something from it as well. We need to know whether they are playing. So let's just get this computed inside here. Sorry. Here. So if we return a reference to a list of Boolean representing whether the key are being played, then we can just take that value from here. Higher is key downs. Yeah, plural. So higher is key down. Cool. So we can just pass in higher is key down here. Save it and go back. Let's have some suspense and not try that yet. Let's finish this with the lower key. Lower is key down. Key down is bad. It should be higher is playing, because we're doing piano here. Okay. Lower is playings. Lower is playings. And I need to change the higher keys to lower keys, and the higher frequencies to lower frequencies. And then we'll pass in the lower is playing to the is active. Save. Oh, what did I do? Oh my god. Line 18. Oh, sorry. Thanks. Yeah, you can't read the numbers, right? Okay. So let's clean up a little bit. I'm keep on suspending just to clean up a little bit. Get rid of these. Don't need these. Get rid of these. Yeah. I'm so nervous. Will it work? Do you think it will work? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm so nervous. So let's try the high key first. Okay, that works. That has been working for a while. And the lower keys. Whew, amazing. So, yeah, that's the live coding. Do we have enough time? So I wrote a song this morning. It's about the Blake Newman organizing this whole conference by himself and some other helpers. And he did dedicate a lot of time into this. He hasn't been working at the office for 2 months now, and a lot of work is waiting for him to finish. So I'm glad that this conference finally happened, so that we have him back and he can do all the work and I can relax a bit. But yeah, here's a song for Blake Newman. I'm just, okay. The Blake. It's too high, oh my god. The Blake. The Blake Newman. The Blake Newman. Thank you for organizing the Vue.js London. Thank you. This is so funny. Okay. I can't believe I actually did that. Okay. So I have one more slide, which is my information. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on GitHub. Star on the repository. The keyboard is actually published on keyboard.ycmjson.com because I find it so useful. I can just bring my computer and sing song anywhere. And it works a little bit different. You have to press on the diff to get the focus, and then you can play. So better user journey, I guess. Yeah, so there's some cool stuff in the actual keyboard repository that use ref to do ref. So the ref for the HTML element with the reactive ref. You know how the Vue 2 ref is not reactive, right? And in Vue 3, you can make it reactive. That is so exciting. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is me. Just, okay, I think I'm ending. Okay, thank you, Blake. Thank you.